What I wanted to go over with you guys today real quick is this is basically my shelter kit that I carry with me in my travels. And I've up and down hammocks now more times than I want to tell you. But I've got a system worked out that I want to go over with you guys real quick for a hammock setup that works really well, requires no tying of any knots for the hammock itself, and you can set your hammock up in about 30 seconds in an emergency if you have to, if you're running out of daylight. But what I've got in here, besides my tarp, which we'll go over that in a few minutes in a separate video, but I've got an Eagle's Nest Outfitters hammock here, and it's very similar to the Trek Lite in design. The cost is about $20 less. This is a single hammock, not a double like the Trek Lite, and it's just a brown and green. Got the Eagle's Nest Outfitters logo on it, and it stuffs down pretty small. And the other thing that I've got for that is, instead of having ropes with a series of knots in them or straps with a series of loops, I've got two pieces of K12 here. And K12 is a rope that's used for stunts and things like that in a lot of commercials and things. It's actually 3,200 pound breaking strength, so it's a real heavy duty rope. It's kind of costly. You can get it for $1.80 a foot if you buy it at the right place. And what I've done is I've taken and put loops on both ends of that rope so that I can use it for other things like snares and whatnot if I want to, for cable snares. But on one of the loops, I just went ahead and put a large figure 9. And I've got one of those in each loop. And all I do with that now is I just take one of these and put it on a tree and decide about how big I want my loop to be, and then I'll just go ahead and lock one of them off just like that. I'll grab my Eagle's Nest Outfitter hammock here and pull it out of the bag and take one of the clips and just go ahead and clip it right on the rope just like this. And I can just tie a 1/2 inch in this side just to hold it in place for a minute while I'm pulling it taut. And it's just a temporary thing. It doesn't even need to be there really. I just want to make sure that it holds on while I do this. Then I'll come over to the other side over here to this other tree. Okay, now with this other piece of rope, all I'm going to do is come around the tree and hook it into the figure 9 like I normally would. And the problem with the strap ropes and things like that I've found, and ropes with multiple knots in them and things like that, is to get your hammock tight, you kind of have to tug against it. It's a pain in the butt, and they stretch out, and you can't adjust them after that. But with this, what you can do is you can pull this down as tight as you want it, just like that, so your hammock's nice and taut, and then just lock it into the figure 9, just like that. Come over the top one time if you want to, just for security, just like that, and your hammock is nice and tight. Now you've got a really tight hammock setup that you can get into pretty easy. And what happens is, if this thing loosens up on you, which it will after you've been in it for a while, it's going to stretch down on you a little bit. You can then get out of your hammock and just undo your figure 9s and strap it down a little bit tighter again, so that if your rope stretches, your hammock stretches or whatnot overnight, it's real easy to get it tight again without having to take it all down. So that's a real quick and easy hammock setup that works out real well for me.